That was everything. That was so good. Okay, I love that they gave Reva her redemption arc. Up to this point, she's been very evil, right? I'm gonna torture a child, I'm gonna kidnap, I'm gonna murder. And after Vader kind of betrayed her, that was sort of her arc going the other way. And even though it seems like there's a lot of hatred in her heart, she finally realizes, if I kill Luke, I'm just as bad as Vader, who I'm fighting against. Vader killed all my friends when I was a child, almost killed me when I was a child. Why should I kill a child? I don't want to become Vader. I'm fighting against him. I don't want to become just as bad as he is. Just like, that's kind of like, with Batman, where, Joker says you're one bad day from becoming me, but Batman is always a rule to not become Joker. Same thing. Very much the same thing, where she finally chooses to not give in to the dark side and redeem herself. That was a great way to close her arc. And of course, the lightsaber battle between Kenobi and Vader was incredibly emotional, especially the end. Also when Obi-Wan was fighting him and Vader just cannot breathe, I was like, oh my word. He's having a hard time breathing. But especially the end of the battle, though, where Anakin says, I killed Anakin Skywalker. To which Kenobi says, goodbye, Darth. For years, because up to that point, he calls him Anakin. And then when he finally says, no, I killed Anakin, he finally accepts and says, goodbye, Darth. Now, for years, people have been giving Kenobi flack in the original trilogy for lying to Luke. Where Luke's like, you told me that Darth Vader killed my father. Well, yes, but when he became Darth Vader, Anakin ceased to exist. So what I told you was true from a certain point of view, and everyone kind of groaned at that because it was so bad. But this episode, we see that even though Kenobi doesn't want to accept it, he's given up on convincing Anakin otherwise, because he's trying to convince him to turn back to life, but he doesn't want to listen to him because that's how far gone he is. Because Kenobi isn't the one to redeem Anakin. That's going to be Luke years later. So, and to some degree, the final battle isn't exciting as it should be, because we know both characters survive. It wasn't like, oh, Kenobi might die in this. Oh, he might kill Vader, because we know that. We know that's not going to happen. We also know Luke isn't going to die either. But I like what they did, given those limitations, since this is a prequel, and they had story limitations, but I like what they did. And of course, the final scenes that wrap everything up actually make the original trilogy much richer. The final conversation Obi-Wan has with Leia about meeting again later, and finally telling her how much she's like her parents, and also him giving her the practice blaster. We know where she got her blaster skills now. So, to some degree, this was also kind of a Leia origin story. And then, on the other side of that coin, we see the other Skywalker twin, Luke, and Owen finally allows Kenobi to meet him. I'm a little bit sad that they didn't show us that conversation. One just goes up to him and says, hello there. I wish they had extended that a little longer. I wish we had gotten to see him actually talking to Luke. But it does give more depth to New Hope, even though we don't see that conversation. It does give more depth to New Hope later, when Luke says, I wonder if by Obi-Wan Kenobi she means old Ben Kenobi. He's kind of a strange old hermit. So, yes, even though Luke has met him before, it was years ago when he was a kid, so he may not remember it very well. And, from this point on, we assume Obi-Wan kind of keeps to himself. So, there's a plot line in Revenge of the Sith, kind of near the end, where Yoda tells Obi-Wan, an old friend, long gone, has learned to communicate through the Force, meaning Qui-Gon, and Yoda says he'll teach Obi-Wan how to communicate with him. And that never went anywhere until now. The very end of the episode, the last, 30 seconds of this episode, Liam Neeson returns as Qui-Gon, as a Force ghost. And granted, it's for, the last 30 seconds of the episode, but still, that was awesome that we're finally giving closure to a line that, for someone was seemingly throwaway, that everyone now, it's no, we're actually acknowledging this line that happened in a movie that came out over 15 years ago that barely anybody remembers, and we're actually giving that closure. So that was awesome, and I'm hoping that we get a season 2, and we get to explore more of that element. I really want to see more of Kenobi talking with Qui-Gon. This was a very satisfying, very exciting finale with a lot of great action, a lot of emotion. Fantastic show all around. This was a great show. I know a lot of people had their complaints, but I was fine with it. I didn't really have much complaints with the show overall. I thought it was fantastic. Let me know what you thought.